So you have a hard claim to win, and you're on Google looking up court cases to see other veterans that won the claim you're going for. What do you do with that? We're going to talk about that today, but first, I'm Mark. I'm the founder of Veteran Nexus, and I make these videos each week for you, the veteran, to push you along your journey for the benefits you deserve. So I need to double down on this video on the fact that I'm not a lawyer, attorney, or accredited agent, or a doctor. Because if you have a claim where you're looking online to find a court case, likely it's a difficult claim to win by default. It's complicated and very situational. So anything I say is my opinion for educational purposes and experience I've gathered after talking to hundreds of veterans. But that said, DYOR, do your own research. So let's talk about this. Okay, well, if you're looking online for a court case, probably you've lost this claim at least once and you're like, I know I have this thing and it makes sense to me. Why can't the VA see it? And let's take an example. Let's say you have diabetes and you think it's because of your service-connected knee problem. So your service-connected knee problem is why you have diabetes, which you're trying to connect secondary to the knee. That's a more common situation. So let's take another example, tinnitus. That's a very easy thing to prove because it's like A equals B. It's like, well, how do you have tinnitus? I worked on a flight deck of an aircraft carrier for 5 years. Okay, here's your 10%, right? You know, I mean, if you have tinnitus today and you're not lying about it or whatever and you get it, it's not that hard to prove because the rationale is there, right? You worked on a deck. But looking at it from more the VA standpoint with the diabetes in the knee, it's to you and to me, like I believe that, okay, I can see how a veteran believes that the diabetes is caused by the knee, let's say. But it's not A equals B. You think about it. It's like when you file a claim for, let's say you have a mental health condition from your tinnitus, it's almost like going to the VA and saying my tinnitus caused a divorce and that's why I'm going for mental health. It's like, well, that you need to provide more details, right? That doesn't sound right on paper. There needs to be more rationale, and that's what I'm saying. So let's break this down. It's not A equals B in this type of claim with the diabetes. It's like A plus B plus C equals D. So A is like, okay, I have a service-connected knee condition. B is like, I have maybe a mental health depression from that knee because it hurts. And then C is, I have an eating disorder and I can't work out because of my knee problem. Then D is, well, over the years I've had diabetes now. When you break it down like that, it doesn't seem as simple because you have to prove like each step and you need rationale, you need evidence because the VA is not just going to take your word for it, right? You need to prove it and you prove it through evidence. And so have you been going to the hospital? Those are things you need to start asking yourself. Because when you look at a court case of a vet that won, what you're seeing is this finished product from a veteran that probably put in all this work just to win that claim. Maybe it took them years. The BVA appeal, man, I've been in one of those. It took me 5 years to even talk to a judge. So, you know, you go online and you see it and you're like, I should win because of this. Well, are you in the same situation as the veteran? Is your health the same? Is the rationale the same? Very situational, right? What work did this veteran do? And those are the things you don't see in that read-up. And on top of that, I wish the VA would put out stats. You know, each year they publish an annual report where you see all the disabilities. It gives you a lot of cool data, but what it doesn't give you is how many vets were denied, how many vets were denied for a certain condition. Because if you saw that, you might be like, oh, I have a 1% chance of winning this claim. Maybe I'm not going to waste my time here. I'm going to go for something else that I can win, right? So just understand what you're getting into. If you're looking at court cases, likely you have a complex situation and it's not as simple as, hey, I saw this guy win the same claim I did. There's a lot of rationale and data in there that it might not apply the same way to you because this veteran is different. And if you're at a BVA appeal, probably it's more complicated. That's why you have to talk to a judge. So having said that, if you're still set on going for the more complicated condition, then here's what I would do. And I put that in quotations because again, I I tend to believe the veteran when they say something because I understand why they're thinking this way. This case, diabetes being caused by the knee problem. So here's what I would do. Remember how I said there's like 4 steps? There's, okay, I have the knee problem, and then I have a mental health issue because of the knee problem, and then I have eating disorder / pain, I can't work out, and then I have diabetes. Well, each of these steps, I would do an audit on how much evidence I have to prove each of those things, because you need to make the jump from A to B to C to D, and you can't make that rationale because you're not a doctor. And then that's what the VA is looking for, is they're looking for a doctor to tell them that what you're saying actually makes sense and is true. So I would gather all the evidence as much as I could, put it into a nice stack, time ordered, and then I'd find a doctor that would be willing to help me. And then I would just tell them, hey, I think I have this because of this. And at that point, that doctor says yay or nay. This doctor, maybe you pay him for a Nexus letter, whatever, but you have to make it past that doctor first. And if you don't have the evidence, how can they write something that's substantial enough to help you win? So you need the evidence, and if you don't have it, you have to go get it. Like I said, you're seeing a finished product on the internet from some guy that may have gone to the hospital for several years just to win that claim, and you likely will have to do the same thing if you want to win this type of claim, my opinion. So you gather the evidence and you give it to that doctor that's helping you, whether you pay him, it's a free doctor that you know, etc. And now they have to write you a Nexus letter that says what you're saying they agree with and is true, and they looked at all your records, the rationale's all there, and they have to list it out all nice and neat for you. That's what I would do. That's the first thing. But then you have to get that past the VA doctor in a C&P exam, and then you have to get that past a rater. So you can see where this gets a little mental, where you have to jump through all these hoops to win this claim. And I would look at the claim too. It's like, hey, if this thing is worth like 10%, and let's say you're at 80 and it's not going to do anything for you, why would you agonize for like 5 years on this claim if it's not going to get you to a different rating? And maybe it's just what you want to do because you believe in your bones that you deserve it, and now it's a vengeance claim. Okay, each to his own. But I would really count the cost of whether this claim is worth it, and then am I able to do all the work related to winning this claim? Because again, it's not just I saw this on the internet and he won, so I deserve it too. It's like, well, there's all these steps in between, right? I want to be a professional basketball player, but I'm like fat, so I'm disabled. I can't just, that would take a long time to do that, and then that's a bad analogy. But you know what I'm trying to say. There's work involved. You're seeing the overnight success after 5 years of trying when you do that thing on Google and you look for a VA court case that won, a veteran that won a claim similar to the one you're going for. Just keep that in mind. But those are the things I would do. Count the cost, figure out the steps on how to win this claim, your rationale, get the evidence for that rationale, get a doctor to help you, and then go for the claim. It's not just, hey, I saw this guy win, I'm going to just go for this and hope that I won. They usually submit the court case with the claim, and it's like, well, that doesn't tell the VA anything. So this one's a little difficult, right, because a lot of vets get emotional about like this particular topic because they saw another vet win, they deserve it, and there's just a lot of things that we don't see that these veterans have gone through. Again, it might be a 1% win rate, you don't know. But this video is starting to drag on, so if you got value and education from this, hopefully it helped you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.